So I'm sharing my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Okay, good. Okay. So to briefly tell you about myself, thank you for introducing me. I'm Hadiqa Maqsood. I got Fulbright scholarship in 2017 to do my PhD in the US. So I'm a PhD candidate and I'm studying in University of Arizona, USA. Along with that, I recently started coaching students for scholarships and for any study skills that they need in terms of helping them with presentations, with essays, and so on. So this is what I basically do. I also have a YouTube channel that also helps students, so I'm going to talk about that too. So for today, we will talk about Fulbright scholarship, and I'm going to tell you what it is. So we'll talk about what's included in the scholarship, the application form के अंदर क्या होता है, what are the essays that are required, the documentation, and then in the end, I will take all the questions that you have and then I will answer those questions. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing, Fulbright scholarship है क्या? It's a flagship project that was started between US and Pakistan. It started in 1950. And there are 51 Fulbright commissions around the world. So this program is actually run all over the world, but Pakistan has the biggest program. जिसका मतलब है पाकिस्तान से around 150. So this scholarship is offered every year. इस साल भी offer हुई है, and we'll talk about how you deal with the scholarship for this particular year. All right. This link that I have shared on the presentation is the main link जहाँ से आप apply करते हैं for this scholarship. So USEFP is a United States Education Foundation for Pakistan, and this particular foundation administers all of the Fulbright program जो पाकिस्तान के through होता है. Now, this is a flyer that you can see every year. You get a flyer similar to this pattern, and you have basically all necessary information, yani ke year of scholarship. So if you have to apply this year, that means your intake for the US will be 2021. So 2020 में जो applications open हुई हैं, वो 2021 intake के लिए हुई हैं, ठीक है? Then all the information is included in it, which is about the eligibility, the process, and so on. And there is application deadline as well. So for this year, the deadline for Fulbright application is July 22nd, which is this month in a couple of weeks. So this application is still open. So it's very good to talk about it right now, and we can see if someone is eligible and they want to go ahead and apply for it. Okay, coming to further information. Usually applications they start from March and they end till mid-May. But this year, due to COVID situation, it's an exception. We have a deadline and it has been getting extended. So this deadline is July 22nd, which is the 5th extension, I believe, that they're doing. So it's a really good opportunity. It's a, like I said before, 150 to 170 applicants are sent to the US annually. And this number depends on the funding they have for that year. The acceptance rate is 5 to 7%, which means जितने भी applicants apply करते हैं, उनमें से 5% select होते हैं, just because there are lots of people who apply. But there's still a chance. 150 is still a big number. So I would encourage anyone who see himself or herself eligible in this should definitely take this as an opportunity. Being a Fulbrighter, I can say that this is one of the best experiences that I'm going through. Find a program officer is a point where, so I shared the link with you, uscfp.org. This is where you go ahead, you sign up with them, you register yourself, and then you are assigned a program officer. This program officer works with you throughout your application, so they can do, if you have any questions, you can ask them and they would try to help you out as much. Okay, Coming to the eligibility now, who is eligible? Because you're applying from USCFP, you should be a Pakistani citizen. You should be residing in Pakistan at the time of application. Now, in Fulbright, you can apply for master's and for PhD. So it's a graduate program. And for master's, you need to have 16 years of education. For doctorate, which is PhD, you need to have 18 years of education. Now, it's desirable that you have some sort of work experience in teaching, research, but it's not mandatory. So it's just like a bonus. But if you have worked in public sector somewhere, that counts as a bonus. Another thing that was required from Fulbright was GRE. GRE is an exam. It has quantitative and qualitative, maths and English, but this year for the application, they have exempted it. So you don't have to give GRE exam in order to apply for Fulbright right now. So then comes the commitment. This is one more eligibility that they ask you to commit once you're done with your master's or your PhD, you commit that you would return and you would serve the country in some way or another. Like if you were a researcher before, you can come back and start your research work or start professorship and so on. Now, the ineligible people. So if you have dual nationality, which is US and Pakistan, that's when you're not eligible to apply for the scholarship. If your spouse, your parent, your fiance, or anyone is a US citizen, that's also when you cannot apply. If you are, or your spouse or sibling is an employee of Fulbright organization, again, you cannot apply for this scholarship. Preference is given to those who have not received the grant before, so you cannot get, there are cases where you can, but it's given to those who haven't had the experience to go and study abroad. And then in the end, people already studying in the US. So if you are in the US, you cannot apply for the scholarship there. Okay. Now coming to what you can go and study. So the academic disciplines. Basically, you can apply for any field that you're interested in. Energy, water, environmental sciences, these are the education, journalism, these are the fields which are encouraged. And the reason is that we need these industries or this research, these fields more in Pakistan. That's why they're encouraged, but there are people applying to any sort of field that they want to work in, except clinical medicine. Now, what clinical medicine is that you cannot practice medicine in the US. So this is where you cannot apply, but any other field is encouraged. Now, one thing is that for this year, for 2020, they have put a specific requirement. It is 3.5 GPA for engineering, practical sciences, and management courses. So if your university has the degree system, the transcript system in GPA, then your requirement is 3.5. If your university is in percentage system, then it's 75%. Now, this is not equivalent to each other, but this is separate requirements for this particular year. And 3 GPA is required for any other program. So if you want to work in art or language, anthropology, social sciences, this is where 3 is the minimum requirement. Or if your university gives percentage form, then 50%. All right. Now coming to what's included in the grant. It's a fully funded scholarship. So that means if you are going for a master's, they would cover 2 years of funding. If you're going for PhD, you will be fully covered for 4 years. And case by case, you can get an extension for the 5th year. But that's really something that you have to look into, and you have to justify why you want to go to a 5th year. But this is a fully funded grant, so 2 years fully fund for masters and 4 years funds for PhD applicants. Now, let's talk about what's included in this fund. Okay, so I'm not sure why this line just came up. Anyway, so your full tuition, so whatever the tuition is for your university, that's covered by Fulbright. Then you get some money for the textbook. So when every year, so let's say you enter your first year, twice a year, sometime in August and sometime in January, you get this particular amount which is added to your stipend. So what is stipend? Stipend is the monthly allowance that you get to live in the US. So with that monthly stipend, you have to pay for your accommodation, and that stipend is good enough for your whole survival. So your groceries, your any other transport that you have to do, and your accommodation. This is all included in the living stipend. And living stipend amount, like people would ask, how much do they pay? They pay different for different states, because in the US, every state is different. So the economy, like California and New York, are expensive. So the living stipend, monthly stipend, is more in those states compared to Arizona, where I am from. But the good part is that whatever they give you is adequate for your survival in that state. All right. Furthermore, they give you airfare. So they give one return ticket for master's students, which means back and forth to your home country. Then you get one additional return ticket, so 2 return tickets for PhDs. So because PhD is 4 years, after 2 years, Fulbright will give you an additional ticket to go back, and we get J1 visa, which is an exchange visa, which is only valid for 2 years. So you, after 2 years of your PhD, you go back to Pakistan, you get your visa renewed, and then you come back and to continue your studies in the US. That additional ticket is also covered by Fulbright. Next comes the health insurance. So US, you have to be, you have to have a health insurance. And this health insurance is, the good part is that you have a primary insurance and then you have a secondary insurance. This is also covered by Fulbright. One-time payment is of the laptop. So once you enter the country, so when you have entered US, you get additional around $1,000 for the laptop if you need to have any machine with you. One-time payment is also the settling in allowance, and this is also in the beginning of your program. So once you get in the US, you get another amount which will help you settle down. Now, if, for example, if you have to give a certain extra amount or an advance or a deposit for a place you will live in. So this settling allowance really helps in that process. Now, the good part is once you're doing a research for master's or for PhD, you can apply for national conferences, and Fulbright can cover 1 conference for master's and up to 2 for PhD, which means within the US, if you have to go and present somewhere else, you can ask for the travel grant and provide them all the documents, and they would cover the travel cost. All right. Now, let's see what to look for. So let's say it's you as an applicant, and I have shown whatever is required from the Fulbright reviewers from the applicant. So first thing is the application form. The application form, which is the Fulbright form, is on the website of USAFP. You can go to the link and you can get the access to the application form. It is a very well-defined form, and you have to start it online. You also have to attach your transcripts. So the degrees and transcripts are also to be uploaded. For this year, you don't have to get them attested, but you have to upload them for sure. So you have to have the last degree with you. Then comes the essays and the writing samples. Okay, this is an important point. So within the application, there are 2 essays which have a lot of weightage in terms of what you write in it. One is called personal statement, and the other is called study objective. I'm going to go into further detail of what they are and how to write, but these essays really talk about whatever you want to do or want to pursue in your degree program. All right, next is letters of references. Letter of reference is the letter that you would ask either your professor or someone from your workplace to write it for you. Letters of reference is also in the application. So if you go to the website, they will have letter of reference option. You can either download the letter, email it to a professor who would fill it for you, and then email it to USCFP, or you can just put the email address in the application and the email would be sent. So there are like a couple of different methods to get the reference letter filled, but you need 3 reference letters. So keep that in mind. Then if you have, over the period, if you have some awards, if you have done any volunteer work, if you have done internship, if you were involved in some research with the senior or anywhere with the professor, all these components should be added in your application because they count a lot with your academic profile. All right, so like I said, you have to have a program officer. They give you all the information. So if you sign up with them, you get emails from USCFP about if there are workshops going on. So those workshops are free. You can also go ahead and do the tests, which are English language tests, and it's not along with the application, but they do that as well. So USCFP also help you with the visa processing for this Fulbright scholarship. Let's say if you get selected, they will be with you throughout the process. So you don't have to worry about what's my next step. They will tell you your next step and they will help you out with that. The other portion is that once you get selected, there is another advisor, which is IIE advisor. It's an organization which is collaborating with the Fulbright, and they also work in the international education department. So once you go to US, you start working with the IIE advisor instead of the program officer back in Pakistan. But again, this is for information. Once you are in the process, you always get all this information, and it's helpful and easy. All right, now let's go through the checklist step by step. So what's in the application? First thing is that you have to write, I'm only going to cover major chunks which are important to put in the application. The other general information about your name, your address, and education, that's the general one, which is similar. However, these are those which are different. So let's talk about it. The major field of study. So you have to, within 70 to 75 words, you have to talk about what do you want to study. So just suppose that this is the very first question that the reviewer will read and get to know about what you want to study. You want to do engineering, be specific, what kind of engineering. You want to do something in journalism, be specific. Then define why do you want to do it. So cover it all in under 75 words. Okay, future plan. This is again a question which is around 70 to 75 words limit. You have to tell about your future plan, which means what do you want to do with the degree you get? What do you plan on doing after you are graduated? So sort of a career plan. How do you align your degree that if you get it, how do you align that with the career that you see for yourself? And then comes the education, which is the background. If you're applying for PhD, so you have to talk about your master's degree, where you did it, and all the other information, as well as bachelor's and so on. Academic honors or prizes. So academically, if you have received any awards, this comes under that. There's another question where they ask about membership in professional societies. I would recommend you to, if you haven't done it yet, try to search for any societies which are either in your university or nationally acclaimed. So for example, I'm an engineer. I'm registered with an engineering society. So I wrote that in in my application. So it counts like you are actively involved within your field. This is what it's trying to portray. So do look into this if you haven't yet. Then comes research. So here they ask about what research have you done and the publications if you have so far. There's another separate question about books or articles. If you have written any article, if you have your thesis published somewhere, you have some papers, you write about that. Now, a lot of students get confused because they're fresh graduates, they don't have publications. So it's not mandatory. If it's not applicable to you, you can leave it empty. It's not required. They do not expect you to have 3-4 publications right away. So don't worry if this goes blank. Teaching experience, again, if you have had teaching experience, you put it in there. If you don't, that is fine. They look for the application overall. Now, they also have a section where you enter your GRE scores, but the good part is for this year, they don't, they're not asking for this score. So you don't have to worry about it for this year. There's another question about if you have lived abroad for more than a month sometime, and there is a separate table where you just enter if you have or if you haven't and where you were and for what purpose. Now comes the essays that I was talking about. So in the application, you have to have your resume. So you have to attach your CV. There are 2 questions about study objective and personal statement. So study objective is, what do you want to study? Why do you want to study that? How that education or that degree fits into your previous training. So link it with your previous degree, link it with your any volunteer experience, link it with your internship, and then connect it with the future as well. For example, why do you want to achieve this degree? Is the future, like, okay, I see myself in this career, that's why I want to go ahead with this degree. And then be specific about your major field. So you can talk about what specifically do you want to do it. So have a portion where you can just mention about the technical portion of your research. Then is the personal statement. So personal statement is, people find it difficult to write, but which is true because it's your story. So imagine you are not there to talk about yourself. This personal statement is your essay that will speak for you. You have to mention in this essay about your background, how, if you had any struggle over the period of time, what was the struggle? If you had some inspiration, you talk about that. So connect your personal life in developing your professional life in this essay, which is personal statement. There's another section of additional information, and in additional information, if you have something to tell that is not already asked in the application, you enter here. You can upload up to 5 documents. So I recommend that in additional information, if you have any certificates, for example, a lot of students are doing online courses. A lot of students have certificate of participation or so on. So you put in there. Then I have a YouTube channel. I've recently started that has guidance on the study objective and the personal statement. So if you want to know more about the tips and techniques to write the personal statement, I have uploaded 2 separate videos about it, so you can go and check it out to get started on writing it better. And it's my channel is with my name, Hadiqa Maqsood.
Thank you, thank you, Hadiqa. Very nice presentation, and now we should move towards the chat box, and one by one we can give the answer to the students. So the chat box,
sure,
to you.
Yes. So so I have a question saying, which academic disciplines are eligible? I talked about that. Let me see. Okay, Mohammed Hasib is asking, a consistently good academic record is most important for getting Fulbright scholarship. So Hasib, your last degree, your last transcript counts the most. So let's say if you go for a PhD, your master's, whatever you've done in master's would matter way more than what you did in bachelor's. So basically your last degree counts. Then scholarship form kahan se milega website. So website is uscfp.org. I had it on my presentation. I can also type and share the link in the chat box. Research proposal is mandatory. Okay, so Naresh has asked about research proposal. You don't have to submit a research proposal. Whatever you have to tell about research is within study objective. So study objective is an essay. It's around 700 to 750 words. In that essay, you mention about what research you have to do or you are interested in. You don't have to be very specific. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to do any literature review. So just the interest. How can we, okay, Sajjad Ali is asking, how can we select the university in US? In this application, you have a section where you can mention up to 3 universities that you are interested in. If you don't know any university which is good within your field, Fulbright is actually good at doing the matching for you. So if you don't know any university, that's totally fine. You can leave it empty because that's an optional section. And Fulbright, using your essays and your education and transcript background, they would match a US university with your interest. Okay, Shahroz is asking, I'm doing BE in electrical engineering and last year my GPA is 3, so can I apply for this scholarship? Shahroz, the minimum requirement for an engineering program is 3.5. 3 is the minimum requirement for any social sciences or arts related program, not for engineering. Okay, how does the selection process work? So the applications are ending July 22nd and sometime in September. It might get delayed this year because of COVID situation, but usually sometime in September you start getting calls, you start getting emails where they tell you if you've been selected or not. And that's where they tell you that you have to come for the interview. So it's application first, then interview, and then university selection. So these are the steps, how it goes. It takes around a year for the whole process to get done. Does everyone selected get a visa? Almost everyone who gets selected get a visa because it's a J1. So yes, they do give visa. Some get into administrative process, but I haven't seen someone getting rejected for the visa. Could be delays, but can we do MBA? Sajjad Ali, yes, you can do MBA using the Fulbright. Okay, well.
Hadiqa, we have a last 10 minutes.
Yes, I just saw that. So I'm quickly going to go through more questions.
Okay. After the session, kindly share the PPT through my email as I can convey it to my students.
Absolutely, I can do that. I'll share
Thank you.
Can we apply for this now as our degree will be out in November? If you have a transcript, okay, AQ has asked this. So because of the situation, if you have your transcript, you can submit your transcript, but so it's fine if you don't have the degree, but you have to have transcript, even though you're getting the degree in November. So transcript honi chahiye, degree baad mein submit kar sakte hain till December. If we are awarded with USA in bachelor's, yes, you can. If you have been awarded UGrad in your undergrad, you can still apply for Fulbright. Can we add the experience of working at any medical areas? Yes. If I'm doing engineering, yes, interdisciplinary is very much appreciated. So if you're an engineering student but you have worked in some medical field, you can definitely write that. It's actually counted as a positive word. So any volunteer work in any field is appreciated. So don't worry about the difference in fields. And I think that's about it. Okay, one more. Can we apply now at the moment or 7th semester result is pending? If you get the result before 22nd July. If you get the result of that, then you can, otherwise you cannot. But you're saying you're in 7 semesters. So I think if the whole program is 8 semesters, then you cannot. How many students are elected each year? Around 150 to 170, depends on the funding they have. Okay, one more.
Hadiqa, can you tell us how many dollars per month stipend is provided by the Fulbright?
So basically, it's different for every state, like I mentioned. It's around $2,000 for California, $2,200 for California and New York states, around $1,300 to $1,500 for the other states. But I'm just telling you a very wide range. It varies. Her state may different prices.
Can we say from $1,000 to $2,000?
It's definitely more than 1,000. 1,000 से ज़्यादा होती हैं. I would say from 1,200 to 2,200. This is the broader range. Okay, well, we have to take GRE in 2020. Okay, GRE, we don't know. They might ask you to give GRE in the later in this year. So we don't know. They haven't said anything about it. They're only saying कि application के साथ GRE देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. हो सकता है for those who get selected, they might ask you to give GRE.
So, Hadiqa, this is very good. This is very good for because at the time of application, there is no need to submit the GRE.
Yes.
Because nowadays the organizations, those are conducting the GRE test is badly affected due to this COVID-19 situations.
Bilkul, people gave their test, someone is not getting it, internet issues, so a lot of issues, so उन्होंने GRE को हटा दिया है, लेकिन सिर्फ application submission तक. We don't know, maybe वो GRE ले ही ना, maybe वो बाद में ले लें. अभी ये उन्होंने कोई announcement नहीं किया.
ये एक अच्छा point है students के लिए जिनके पास GRE score नहीं है, तो ये अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, मतलब अप्लाई कर सकते हैं इस स्टेज पे. तो ये एक अच्छी पॉइंट है 2020 के लिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है अगर आपके पास GRE प्रिपेयर करें, क्योंकि अक्सर स्टूडेंट्स के पास टाइम नहीं होता. यू डोंट हैव टू प्रिपेयर फॉर GRE, so just go ahead and start with the application process. और जिनको बाद में भी कहेंगे देने के लिए, उनके लिए टाइम होगा to prepare for it. So this is a good point. What is the due date for applying? It's July 22nd, जो कि in coming 2 weeks है. It's July 22nd for this year. इस साल के लिए अप्लाई करेंगे जो 2021 अगस्त में इनटेक होगा. ठीक है? Okay, how can I reach you? You can reach me at I can write my email address here. You can reach me at hadiqa@thebluecube.de. So, and I can help you, whoever needs some help. This is my email address. If you have questions after this presentation, because I see only 4 minutes are left, so I can also answer your questions there. So you can email me. And okay, I'm civil engineering student and I'm in my last semester of graduation. Can I apply? You're civil engineering and in last semester. If you get your degree or transcript before the application deadline, then you can apply. Otherwise, no. What is the minimum requirement? It's 3.5 for engineering students. Can we get a job there after finishing? No. You cannot go ahead and work in the US once you're done with your degree. This is the main point. You have to come back. तो आप वहाँ पे काम नहीं कर सकते. आप अपने study program तक के लिए जाएंगे और जब आपका degree, आपका study program खत्म हो जाएगा, you will be coming back to Pakistan, and Fulbright arranges that for you. So you're supposed to come back and return to your home country. जितने साल आपने पढ़ाई की है, उतने साल तक आप US में जाके काम नहीं कर सकते. यानी कि अगर 2 साल का मास्टर्स है, तो 2 साल तक आप US में काम नहीं कर सकते. Later on, you can go ahead and apply and see for other opportunities. Same goes for PhD. अगर 4 साल के लिए आप US में पढ़ रहे थे, तो आप अगले 4 साल तक US में जॉब नहीं कर सकते. But you can go ahead and visit visa पे, but work visa नहीं मिल सकता. तो ये एक requirement है for Fulbright scholarship का जो visa लगता है, which is exchange visitor visa. Okay, I think I tried to answer all the questions. And if you have more, you can email me and let me know if you need any help
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hadiqa, very much. It was very nice session, and you have a lot of experience, and it is our luck that you give us time. And
thank you so much for contacting me. That was good. I enjoyed that I got the opportunity to talk to much more students from a different campus as well. So thank you, Dr. Sajjad.
On the behalf of ICE, Department of Civil Engineering, Merhan University, Sheikh Zulfikar Ali Bhutto campus, I'm really thankful to you and appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Inshallah, we will have another interactive session in future as well.
Bilkul. Happy to help. Happy to give another session like this. Thank you all to all the students who asked these questions. I hope I was helpful in answering.
Any advice or message for the students?
Yes, I would say that just जो भी अभी मैंने बताई है कि ये eligibility criteria, if you do fit into this criteria and you have finished or you're almost about to finish your degree, do look into this scholarship. It's a very good opportunity. बहुत comfort होता है. कोई job जैसे part time job करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. You just have to focus on your studies and you experience a lot. I meet so many different nationalities. You get to go and visit US, travel a lot, meet new people. So it's a good opportunity. And अगर इस साल नहीं होता है, and you're graduating sometime later, you can apply for the next year. So the good part is कि हर साल आती है. तो इस साल के लिए नहीं, तो अगले साल के लिए आप prepare कर सकते हैं. तो I would advise to go ahead, go to their website, and look for the options if this appeals to you. But definitely apply. ये बहुत अच्छा experience है.
Okay, Hadiqa, take a good care, and Allah Hafiz, and formally we complete the session.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.